still in me.
Transit. Commencing research.
What's up, guys? It's DJ again with LabZ. I want to first and foremost get a couple things clarified. The Buddah room step and the MAXIS Easter egg, I'm assuming, is being done differently. The only reason that I explained it so specifically is because during our first trial of the Easter egg, we had died. When we tried to recreate the Buddah room scene, it wasn't working at all. We went back into theater mode and realized we had to use Stu with the cross refibrillator when reviving Russ, who was doing trains in the bottom floor of the Buddah room, so we had assumed this had to be done with certain characters. I got a ton of people saying it wasn't working, and even a video popped up of people just shooting the inside of the room, in general, getting the step completed. Not only that, people were telling me that they couldn't do it unless they used Stu with the cross refibrillator and Russ as a sacrifice. This was even confirmed by Spiderbite NGTZombies in his latest video. I will post a link of that in my description. So my solution to this would be, if one way doesn't work, try another, and make sure you have shed enough blood before you attempt it, or it won't work. One more thing before I get into the theories, we are going to squash this right now. There is no competition here with anyone here on YouTube. If you truly believe that this is a race, then I feel sorry for you, because it's all about the community, the research, and the deciphering the code of the zombies. We cannot work against each other, guys. We must work together. With that said, let the theories begin. Okay, first thing on the agenda. I know everyone has picked up the supposedly white nav card in Floor B cosmetic section in Die Rise. I want to look extremely close in detail at it because I believe it's not a nav card. Yes, not a nav card. I theorize this is some sort of ticket, maybe a bus ticket. The only reason I say this is because when you look at it in your inventory, it's folded, it wrinkled a little bit. Wouldn't it make sense if this was a boarding pass of some sort? Why would Treyarch deliberately show it be crinkled a bit? A card is normally made of plastic, and if it wants to be inserted into a device, it would have a strip or a chip at the end of it to store information. But this boarding pass, or bus ticket as I'm calling it now, has no indication of any memory being stored on it. It's simply a piece of paper with box information on it. To test the theory, I went ahead and rode the bus in transit. The goal was to stay on the bus until the bus driver said new route acquired or learned. I don't know if you guys have heard that one before. I sure have heard it before. I believe that the quote is triggered. This boarding pass or bus ticket would come into play. After he said, I tried going back to the bus depot and inserting it somewhere. I also tried giving the bus driver the ticket or feeding it into the center console, but nothing happened. I still believe that this is some sort of boarding pass on a piece of paper. I'm assuming it will come into play in future DLC. I also tried to complete the MAXIS Easter egg on transit and inserting the boarding pass in the nav card reader. Of course, it said incorrect nav card, but even if you didn't have a nav card in your inventory, it says the same thing, so I'm stumped. But it was something that was thoroughly tested yesterday. So let's talk about mending the rifts. In the beginning of Die Rise in the cutscene, you see that the rift here is purple. So why is it purple? Well, we got MAXIS, which is orange, and then you got Richthofen, which is blue. When you put those together, you get purple. Purple. So that means if you had completed the MAXIS side of the Easter egg on transit, and you completed the MAXIS side of the Easter egg on Die Rise, you should be able to teleport, right? The purple is showing us that we could complete either side of the Easter egg and be able to teleport, but you had to have completed it in A and B for you to connect the rift. Another theory would be that you would have, it's purple because you would have to have completed MAXIS and Richthofen on both sides. So you'd have to do it on Die Rise and do it on transit. But this kind of doesn't make sense because in Die Rise you're only able to do one. Only able to do one Easter egg. So that's impossible. So how do we teleport? We have to do MAXIS side in transit. So that's what I did, and no teleportation system. Nothing happened. So we're missing something, guys. We have to figure it out. I can't put my nav card in the nav card reader in transit because it doesn't work, and it's not really a nav card. So we completed the circuit, but we can't teleport. So what do we do now? So there's a missing piece that we need to find out. Now, let's say that we can teleport. Could we use build and transit in Die Rise and use builds and Die Rise for transit if you could teleport? Could you teleport with builds? More importantly, teleport to Die Rise with your cash? Oh, that would be so amazing. You could also use a trample steam to sling you over town to the shortcut to get to farm or get to diner. The liquefier shoots that unknown purple gunk. We know it explodes zombies in a chain and is highly slippery, but could it have many other functions? Perhaps cover the mist and absorb it and clear it up, actually kill the denizens, or maybe finally eliminate the Avogadro with the purple goo. You could use the EMP grenades and Die Rise on the elevators to control them how you want. If your friend was below or above you, you could put a turbine down and power it back up. Not only that, the turret would have a great use on top of the elevators, eliminating zombies when it reached the floor. We could use the jet gun. We could use it to glide back and forth through rooms and buildings and decimate the Nova crawlers. You could even slide zombies by squirting the purple goo with the liquefier onto the floor and using your jet gun to slide and suck the zombies into it. Wouldn't this make more sense to use these items on Die Rise? And finally, we could use the turbine to maybe power up the mysterious upside down elevator in the Buddah room. What about perks? Mule Kick and Who's Who in Transit? Mule Kick, who would help transit players immensely because of the vastness of the map. You would have more firepower. The possibilities are endless. This makes sense because there is barely any practical uses for the items in transit for transit. The only main buildable that we use in transit the majority of the time is a turbine. That's it. Maybe this could be the reason why there are such few builds in Die Rise. Because when we finally are able to teleport, when we finally mend the rift, we will have more than enough builds for both maps. So for every new DLC, we will get 1 or 2 more additions to our inventory of builds. This could give all zombie maps immense replayability. If the end of the year comes and these theories happen to be false, I think we're all going to be pretty pissed off. One more thing I want to share. When we completed the Easter egg in transit, the MAXIS side, when we completed it, I went to the box with Marlton and an orange globe globed on the SMR. Usually Marlton would say something like, oh, this gun's a piece of crap, or maybe we should take it apart and rebuild it. But in this instant, he didn't say that. He said, and I quote, wouldn't trade this for all the tea in China, even if there is a China. What are we missing here, guys? I feel transit is so incomplete. There is so much more to be found. Just because we complete an Easter egg doesn't mean we are done. Oh, guys. How's that for mind blown? Well, we still have a bunch of research to do. Grab your lab coats and get to the fields, team. This is DJ, and I'm out.
Follow the research on Twitter at BasharzAnal. Subscribe now.